Hey, what's up? It's Emilio DiSpirito, and this is the Wealth Architect Podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you each and every single week. My team and I have hand-selected our guests to come on the program to talk about how to build wealth financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, right? There's so much that goes into building a lifestyle full of wealth, and we hope that this content really reaches you, not only in your brain, but in your heart, and that you could do something with this. So thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and we're going to have a great show. Hey, a special thank you to our sponsor, Annie Mac Home Mortgage, whose Cash to Keys product is disrupting the industry. Sick and tired of finding the perfect home, not having your offer selected? I got to tell you, it happens all the time. With Cash to Keys, Annie Mac gives sellers a cash guarantee for each of their buyers' offers. Stop bidding and hoping. Instead, bid with Annie Mac and bid with confidence. Don't just bid, but win. Annie Mac Mortgage. Have you ever heard of upfront underwriting? Well, I haven't until I started working with Movement Mortgage. Movement Mortgage is one of the top loan originators around the country. Specifically, I want to give a thank you to Matt Bates. And if you're lucky enough to live in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, or New Hampshire, I strongly suggest you contact Matt Bates at rimortgageguy.com. Again, rimortgageguy.com, and he's going to help you to find that dream home. He does upfront underwriting, which means they fully approve you for a mortgage before you even place offers, increasing your chances of winning that dream home. rimortgageguy.com. Season 2, Episode 11 of The Wealth Architect. I'm Emilio DiSpirito, your Wealth Architect, and we've got a great guest for you today. We're talking about the power of niche marketing, okay? So people want content that they can understand, that hits home to them, and that doesn't feel like it's a blanket template, okay? So we're going to be talking with somebody here in our marketplace and also over 190 marketplaces across the United States that is tapping into this power, okay? Whatever business you're in, there's going to be a lot to learn here for you. So I'd like to bring on the show John Ludes and it's n2co.com, right? N2co. How are you?
Yeah, Real Producers. It's N2 is the parent company, and Real Producers is the platform that I work with. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. So, John, welcome to the program. I think it's an
Thank you.
important topic because people want, like I said, the information that resonates with them. Okay. And it's a really good way to pull people in and to really hit the message home. So tell me a little bit first off about who you are, where you're from, what you're all about, and then we'll get into what your publication is and what your target audience is, et cetera.
Sure. Yeah. Like you said, John Ludes. I have a wife and family of 4 girls. So it,
Wow.
kind of gives you those challenges, but I know I'm going to be taken care of when I'm a little
You get
older,
all
so.
your hair still,
Yeah,
so they must
exactly.
not be that bad.
No, they're not. They're low drama, so
Yeah.
they're good kids.
Wow.
But yeah. So live in Bristol, Rhode Island, and I came from financial services technology, which is sort of a great background for kind of learning technology, all of that type of thing. But the travel, everything else was a little bit of a bear for me, and so I kind of was looking for a change and
Yeah.
got into the real estate market with Real Producers, and have just been absolutely loving it.
Awesome. So the Real Producers, right, has a really niche message behind it, has a really niche target audience. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about who that target audience is, what your goal is from, it's not just a publication, it's also online advertising. And let's talk about the goal behind all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Real Producers, the great thing about it is, yes, when you say niche, what we try to do is focus on in every market that we're in. And like you say, we're across the country, but in every market we're in, we focus on absolutely the top tier agents.
Mm-hmm.
So in Rhode Island, that means the top 300 out of, ballpark at around 8,200 agents.
That's right.
So the top 4% of those agents, but those agents drive about half of the total volume.
It's wild, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. So those are the folks that are, the real players in every single market, but also the folks that are most responsible for, the reflection of that market and who we want to work with, because also we partner with their recommended vendors, folks like could be mortgage lenders, could be, title attorneys, things like that. So we work with those folks and we connect everybody
Mm-hmm.
through both the publication, kind of keeping everybody top of mind, introducing folks for the first time. But then we also structure events,
Mm-hmm.
quarterly events, and those events are exclusive to those top agents as well as those vendors that come in as well.
Wow, that's awesome. So basically, I noticed that there's a lot of people that are getting back to, wanting to meet in person, shake hands, build those relationships. And that's really how things really progress, right? How meaningful relationships are made. So I love the fact that you're bringing meaningful engagement together. I know that's what you're all about. Let me ask you this. Why not market it to all of the realtors?
That's a great, where do you stop? And so I think part of it is everyone does that. That's
Mm-hmm.
where you have the problem, is that you're not bringing value to the ones who are contributing the most to the market. And that means that if
Amen.
I'm a top agent and I go to any event that's invited, that all the realtors are invited to, I don't get as much value out of that. Number one, because I walk in the door, I'm being pulled in by other, sort of new agents saying, "Hey, how do I get to be where you are?"
Yeah.
That's wonderful, but do that one-on-one on your own time. And secondly, I'm going to get mugged by, no offense to mortgage lenders, but I'm going to get mugged by 40 mortgage lenders coming in the door and saying, "Hey, listen, do business with me." That's not what you're looking for. You're getting no value out of that. Whereas with the niche market, you're walking in that door knowing every single person that's in this room is already one of my peers. They're one of my colleagues. And I can look at them and say, "How are you doing this?" And it means something. And so you can collaborate with them, work with them on that one-on-one basis. And you're also going to be working with top tier vendors as well. So that's really the idea.
I love that. You change the crowd, you change the conversation. And I agree. I'd rather be up in that higher echelon of agents in the state, which is great because the conversation is completely different. You're not talking with somebody that's complaining about the market. You're talking to somebody that has solutions in the marketplace, and knows how to get stuff done. Like, those are the conversations I want to be in. There's a lot of exclusivity with what you're doing, which I like, because our culture has gone towards, hey, everybody wins a trophy.
Award, right?
Yeah, crazy participation awards, but that doesn't really help anybody, and it really doesn't give anybody a reason to want to succeed.
No, it doesn't distinguish you, and then you don't learn from that. If you don't have that aspiration, and if you don't have that loss, then you have nothing to learn from.
Yeah.
And consequently, if you do get that win, it's something special.
Yeah.
So there's that, being part of a group that is elite, being part of that means something to the folks there that are in it, but it also has something special that has a value to those who are not. Aspirationally, they want to be there.
That's right. I love that. So I got several questions for you, but I want to go back to the event that you were talking about, because I'm intrigued by that, right? Like, what can one expect when they go into one of the real producer events? Like, are they going to get pummeled by like all sorts of like the sponsors, right? Or
so that's the whole concept of the event. The events there's no agenda. They're super low key events. And the idea is we're getting there to get together. And as an agent, you're getting there to talk to other top agents and saying, "Hey, I've done business with you. We've either done a transaction, or I've shown one of your houses, you've shown one of mine," that type of thing.
Yeah.
Then, kind of collaborate that way. But, no, there's no agenda to it. It is strictly about networking. And the idea is also from a vendor standpoint, no, it's limited to the number of folks that are in the platform. And those folks know that they're not there to sell you.
Yeah.
They're not coming in there to try to transact with you. They're coming to build a relationship. So that's all we're about, is that those events are about building relationships, not about not about scoring a transaction.
Yeah. I love that. I find that the most successful people in any business, John, they're about extending their hand. They're about making sure that what they do provides value, and you don't need to sell when that happens. When there's a relationship there, it just happens, right?
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. That's really good. Let's talk about what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people, all right, whether they're agents or they're in their business and, they're trying to personalize their marketing. What are some of the biggest fails or mistakes you see out there?
I see definitely, the first one is trying to kind of like personalize a message to the masses.
Okay.
Right? When they try to like say, I'm going to try to hit home with a personalized message, but I'm sending it out to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
you're going to break down there. Really what you're trying to do is you need to isolate your message and make sure that it truly is personalized, and make sure that, when you're talking to folks, that you're connecting with them about something that matters.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think that a lot of folks do when they're trying to communicate is they're thinking about selling. Just to your point, what you're just talking about.
Yeah.
I want to sell. I want to get you to buy this. I want to get you to transact.
Commission breath. You feel that right
that
off
commission
the
breath is a
Such
killer.
a turn off.
Yeah, it's immediate. People know that. People are smart and they feel it. And people, when you talk with somebody, the thing that they get out of that is how they feel, right? They very, very rarely are going to remember what you said or your message. They're going to think about how you made them feel.
That's right.
And so when you're doing that, if you're trying to relate to an individual or a group of individuals, try to do that on their terms, and try to do it in a way that makes you show value and build trust, as opposed to thinking about, I got to get to that sale. The sale will come. It's a longer play, but it's the difference between a transaction and a relationship.
Yeah, that's right. I remember go back to 2012, 2013 when I was newer in real estate, right? And for anybody that's in real estate, I think you'll understand this or feel this, or hopefully it helps you, or anybody in sales. And I was like banging out calls, knocking on doors, right? Like I was going crazy, prospecting, and nothing was happening. And there were two things that were happening, right? Number one, I wasn't setting the right expectations, meaning I was just trying to sell. I wasn't telling them, if you do this, this will happen next. This is what happened next, and taking time to educate. But number two, I wasn't putting the clients first. And how often in any business do salespeople, they put their paycheck first, they put all of that first. Once you have the mindset of, let me make sure whatever it is that I'm talking with this person about is right for them at this current time. Let me make sure it's right for them to sell their home right now, or right for them to buy this type of home. The conversation changes, the dynamics change, the questions you're asking change, and the way you're able to lead that conversation to get them to where they want to go, it really starts to unfold.
So smart. Yeah. When you talk about the mindset you have when you're communicating with a potential client, or more importantly, with an existing client, right? That mindset you have is going to translate into the way you communicate. And the way you communicate has got to be, hey, listen, I'm here. This is not about a sale. It's about, connecting with you and making sure that you understand I'm here for you, trust building. And that's really what it's all about, as opposed to, they may not need that, to your point, they may not need that sale today, but if they trust you, they're going to be using you in the future, and they're also going to have that. They're going to be giving you recommendations and referrals
all day. Yeah.
Right. So that's the difference.
So actually, funny story, right? And I got to give you kudos, John, because you called me. Like I didn't know you from Adam. Right. You called me, and I immediately, I was like, all right, this guy's cool. I'm going to hear him out. Right. No, you were good. Right. You had a really good, demeanor about you, but I knew you weren't selling me. You were literally calling me, just asking me if I had any interest to basically market myself for free. And I was like, what? Really? Like, get on the cover of a magazine, get in front of 300 of the most valuable players in the marketplace, and all of the vendors too that matter. Right. Yeah. Why would I not do that? I'm interested. Right.
Yeah.
So then you told me more. And what did I do? I sent you referrals. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key to it, is we're it's a co-relationship, right? And I think that's a big piece of it.
And I think that's it. I think that the pressure type of situations are a thing of the past. That's a 80s, that's a 90s thing, maybe 70s, 60s things right? Like, the used car salesman approach, it just does not work anymore. People are so educated. They know what they want. Your job is to help meet them where they are at and educate them on how to get there. And when you do a good job in that, in any industry, your business is going to explode. You're going to do very well. And, again, I go in there with the mindset of, let me try to talk them out of doing this, which is kind of contrary to what you would think a salesperson would do. But when you shift that mindset, now you're going in there as an advisor versus a salesperson.
The advisor kind of piece, certainly presenting pros and cons for sure, and saying, hey, here's some things you need to think about. There's not always going to be the rosy picture, but sometimes you need to think about these things, whether you're talking to somebody who is an empty nester and they're thinking about, hey, I want to be able to move back into town and I want to do this downsizing concept. Hey, there's some pros and cons to that. Here are some things you need to think about. And that's what builds the trust. Ironically, telling them the bad stuff is what they say, oh, well, no, he's being honest about it. And so he's going to be, this guy's a straight shooter.
100%. It's kind of like when a buyer brings their mom or dad or uncle or somebody into a showing, right? Like we're walking in a house with this happened to me the other day, right? And of course they take the protective, like, you're not going to sell my daughter. You're not going to sell this. You're not, like, what are you trying to hide? And really, when you start walking through and you talk about the good, but also the bad, the pros and the cons, you know what, this might not work for you type of thing. It's almost like the takeaway kind of close, right? The people start to open up to you and, like, you know what, I can trust you. And that's huge.
Take that pressure off.
Yeah, absolutely. Meaningful connection. And I want to segue into, let's talk a little bit more about marketing again, right? So, John, how do you measure whether a connection or a piece of content is actually moving the needle beyond likes or views?
So I think that's the big thing. I mean, in a short answer, when you're talking about what we're doing today is talking about sort of micro and I'll call it almost nano or niche marketing.
Yep.
The way that starts is literally through like anecdotes, through hearing it back from from that smaller audience, right? Because you could be dealing with an audience as an agent. That audience, that top 100 clients that you have, those top 500 client or top 100 clients, they can generate 60, 70% of your total volume for the year.
Right, yeah.
So if you're double downing on those folks, those are the folks that you want to basically be hearing back from. So anecdotally, that's a great measurement, and that's a telltale right there. But what you can do is say, here's my group of top 100 clients. These are my people. This is my sphere. I want to start with those folks. And if I know that I did 20 houses last year, and now all of a sudden through referrals and through that networking, I'm getting 40, 50, 60 houses, there's your answer. But I think short term, the best kind of response you get back from that group is going to be anecdotal. It's going to be saying, hey, I heard you and, you and I talked, or you did a check-in, you did a personal check-in, or you had coffee with someone and they tell you, yeah, you know what? My daughter is now looking to, buy a house and, she's looking in this area. What do you think? Now all of a sudden you've got a referral, you've got a lead. Those are things that, those are the measurements that you're going to get. Clicks and likes, all those things are wonderful. Yeah. They feel good in the moment, but they don't translate necessarily into a sale. That's something that's kind of very ethereal. It kind of goes out into you get it for a moment, and then, the next day, 24 hours later, it's gone.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get that client who you make a connection with, now all of a sudden you've got somebody who's loyal to you and is going to be not only a repeat customer, but a referral.
Absolutely. So with the marketing that you're doing for, the realtors, right? And I think that, by the way, I think this could be plug and play in all different kinds of industries. And this is why I wanted you to have in here, because your parent company, okay, they do this for other industries too, right?
Absolutely, yep.
What are some of the other industries that they've been able to really dive into and have success in?
So one of them is the stroll industry, which is basically they do it by community. So the actual target audience and the readership and all
those.
That. Yeah,
smart.
Yeah, they have those right. So that is part of the community, and so at that point you're opening it up to: do you want to be part of, or you as a business, do you want to be part of this affluent community that we have a real good relationship with? So I think that's a niche in the sense of geography.
Yeah.
Ours is more of a niche. Yeah, it's based on geography,
industry.
But it's by industry of the real estate industry. This is much more about, this is a very, very, typically they are more affluent neighborhoods or communities, and they target those and say, hey, listen, here, how would you like to be the go-to, landscaper for this town or this community?
Yeah.
That's pretty attractive.
It's huge. And that's mailed to all of the people's houses in that community.
And they are the stars. So in other words, they'll feature a family in that particular community. They'll tell that story. And so
they're paying attention.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way for folks to get introduced, and it brings the community a little tighter together. So it's there's a lot to it.
Which we need more of now than ever, right? Is
Yeah.
is to unite, to be, like, do you remember growing up, like, how old are you?
I'm 57.
57. Okay,
Yep.
so you remember a time when, you would ride your bike with all the neighborhood kids, and you'd be outside, you would know all the neighbors, people would come over your house, your mom would have like a bundt cake or some sort of snacks for people.
Yep.
Like, it was like, now somebody knocks on the door, and comedians make fun of this all the time. People are like, who the heck is that? Like,
Yeah.
hide, like.
And they look on their laptop and they figure it's a ring and it's a,
Yeah,
they never even go to the door, right?
Yeah, they don't even go to the door, right? And it could be a neighbor, it could be somebody, and they don't even answer the door, right? It's kind of, it's comical, but realistically, it's sad. And what I am seeing, because I work with so many people, is I'm seeing people need a sense of community, and you're seeing people, which is beautiful, start to come back to this. You're starting to see private clubs get bigger, more attendance. You're starting to see private schools get more attendance. You're starting to see churches. The church attendance is up like 15% in America, which is amazing. Amen. And like, you're starting to see all these beautiful things happen. People want to be connected now more than ever. And that's why I feel like a publication, and I know it's not a publication, I keep saying that, but what did you call it? A
platform,
a
right?
platform,
Right.
Because it's so much more than a publication. A platform like yours, where it includes online, print, in person, all of that, really is just so powerful right now. And I want you, if you're out there, if your business, if you can connect with people in a niche market in meaningful ways and put the content out to people that actually want to digest it, your sales are going to spike. Instead of making it one size fits all for everybody, don't focus on everybody, focus on a niche.
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice. I think, it's also about the message itself, right? So, when that if you're trying to find that niche of who that is, just start with your own expertise. So, I mean, your listeners, depending on whatever market they're in, whatever industry they're in, there is going to be probably everybody here has some level of subject matter expertise on something, right? So start there. So if I'll bring it back to the real estate market because it's something we're talking about a little bit today. But if you're, somebody who has that specialty in divorces, or if you're somebody who has that specialty in military relocations like Tammy Bass that we just featured, right? So, or if you're somebody who has
Tammy.
Yeah, right. And so somebody who has, we talked about empty nesters.
Yep.
Those are the things that you can become that niche specialist in. That's how you begin to build the trust, because you've got that expertise. You're sharing that expertise. You're not asking for anything in return out of the gate.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that's how people say, okay, that's an expert and it's somebody I trust, and they're not asking anything out of me. So, I'm gonna keep them in mind. Then you have to follow that up with, I'm going to be doing touch bases with them. I'm going to be doing personal check-ins, all of those things to kind of keep that relationship fresh.
Follow-up is where so many people like lose, where the wheels fall off the wagon, right? Like, with follow-up and meaningful follow-up. With all of your years in business and sales and now running a business, like, could you give us, and we're kind of going outside the box here, but I want to hear from you. Could you give us maybe a couple of tips on meaningful ways to follow up with people where they feel a connection versus sale?
Yeah, I mean, and as motivation, there's a great NAR stat that I think, a lot of real estate agents know, but some don't. And I think it transfers to a lot of different industries. And that is that they've went out and polled buyers, right? And they said, hey, listen, would you work with that agent again? And
I don't know if I want to hear this statistic.
It's astonishing. 89% said, yes, I would work with that agent again.
Not bad, yeah.
The killer is how many actually do. It's more like 12%.
Wow.
And so the difference is they forgot about you.
Yeah.
Right? By the time it comes back around to, oh, geez, I need a real estate agent, they've forgotten that.
Yeah.
Or they're certainly not making recommendations. So the difference for those elite agents that are really making that difference and driving more business out of their connections is they're doing it by saying, I'm doing these personal check-ins. I'm doing all of those sort of tailored responses and tailored communications.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, you said, give me an example, is same thing, pick a topic that you know about and say, maybe I'm going to offer a seminar or a brief, thing at the library about, empty nesters who want to come downtown and, relocate. Maybe that's your first in. Start small so you feel very comfortable with it. Start with a topic that you feel extremely comfortable with. Become that expert. And guess what? You've got your niche right there. That's the start. And then you can build off of that.
Well, that's huge. So what I got from what you said too is that 78% of business, repeat business, is lost. Okay, 78%. That's huge.
Crushing.
The most expensive thing in business is trying to bring in new clients, correct? Yeah. Right? When you say, I think in all businesses.
Yeah, I mean, it ranges depending on industry. It ranges anywhere from 5 to 7 times, all the way up to 25 times. In other words, to get that, to get a new one versus retaining your existing business.
Client acquisition cost, right? That's what it is. So now think about this. Like, think about if you just found meaningful ways to follow up with your current clientele, your current sphere of influence, okay? Whether it is email or check-ins or, mailers or, anything like that. And if you pick up an extra 10 or 20% of business, I mean, that's life-changing. Never mind if you get to keep everybody that said that they would reuse you again.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds so simple, but there is, there's work to it, and it's common. You don't want to ever discount. There is a component of the technology you can use and leverage to do that.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's you've got to do the work, and you've got to basically meet those people where they are, and you've got to make those connections and maintain those relationships.
That's right.
Because if you don't, they forget about you, and that becomes part of the 78%.
So many, like I get to work and meet and see so many different business people, like in various industries all the time, which is really great about real estate. You get connected with so many people, right? And I see that the successful people have a book of business. They have a CRM. They have, a management software where they put all of their clients in. They keep notes on them. They reach out to them at different points of the year for various reasons, whether it's their birthday or an anniversary or whatever, anything meaningful for that person, right? And I try to wrap my head around it, John. Like, why would anybody start a business or go into business and not keep a database of who they're working with, right?
You're going to keep your sphere very, very small if you don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Because how do you keep track of that stuff? You're going to write it down in a notebook. I mean, that's where technology comes in, and technology is a tool. It is highly valuable, and you can use it to be a force multiplier for you.
Yep.
But it doesn't do the work. What it does is it basically allows you, the CRM can keep track of the birthdays and all of the, what are their kids up to, all of those sort of details that help you connect with that individual. And then you can also find commonalities, right? I can look and say, okay, here, these people are all interested in, they're of a certain age or of a certain style or whatever there might be. I can kind of correlate those things to communicate, to tailor my messages.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a tool, and, use it as a tool. Don't use it as a substitute for kind of making that human connection.
Correct. Yeah. Let's go back to your platform for a second. And so the Rhode Island top producers, and again, you've got publications in, what was it, 160 or something markets?
165 markets right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the Real Producers publication targeting the top 300 agents in each marketplace, right? So how would an agent that is part of that, or even somebody advertising in that publication, like how can they reuse your content, repurpose your content to target prospective clients?
Yeah, that's a great, it's a great way to do it. If you are someone who has been featured or in that, in that role, you can use that to basically say, hey, this is a little bit more about who I am, what we do. Part of the power of our connection, the power of our platform is it's exactly what we do. We don't take, for instance, Emilio, and put you in the suit and make you seen as exactly as everywhere else you're kind of promoting yourself. We kind of break it down a little bit and say, hey, here's Emilio in his real life. Here's somebody who's connectable, relatable, and people can see their commonality and basically say, I like that guy because I know him a little better.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know him a little better. That's the concept with basically, everything you should do. So if you can use that publication in that sense to basically introduce yourself in a way that connects with that audience, you've won, right? So that's the way to do it.
I've received, thank you for the feature, by the way. I received, and by the way, you're not on here because you featured me. You're on here because I'm intrigued by your publication, and and you've had 3 or 4 issues come out.
3 so far. Yep.
Okay.
And fourth is on the way.
And, part of what we do here on the Wealth Architect podcast is we interview people from various fields all over the country, really all over the world, to talk about what they do. But we also highlight the top top 200 agents here in the Rhode Island marketplace.
Yep, there's an overlap.
Some of who will be on your publication. So, John, when I saw what you're doing, I was like, wow, I'm intrigued by what you're doing. I want to learn from you. There's a lot here that we can share with our crowd. Basically, I got a couple dozen text messages or emails or phone calls, a mix of all of that from people in the marketplace that said, hey, I seen this, great job. This is awesome. So that type of stuff works, right? And
right.
And I love the fact that you're providing a platform for people to be people.
Yeah. It's not about putting on online presence of, I'm the best in my market. I've sold this many transactions. I've done, this in volume. Those are stats.
Yeah.
Those are great. And those are, accomplishments, and you should not shy away from them. But that's just the very surface, right? Yeah. That's what every agent out there does. What you can do now is say, okay, I want to form that deeper connection based on some of those accomplishments. I want to kind of relate to you in a way that brings you value. Those things don't bring them value. That's your accolades.
Yeah.
Right. They want to have something that brings them value. And that is, hey, I can offer you expert advice on, whatever that topic might be.
That's right. And it brings us full circle to being the trusted resource, for being somebody that people can personally connect with and really depend on to take them through the biggest purchase and or sale of their life, right? The most important thing, where their families rest their head at night. And that's really fantastic. John, you're doing such an amazing job out there. I appreciate our friendship, and really I'll do anything I can to help you out with what you're doing. And I strongly suggest for anybody to watch what this gentleman is doing. His publication is called Rhode Island Real Producers. You can follow him on Instagram. We're going to put some links all over the place for his content. And if you are somebody in the marketplace who wants to connect with the top dog realtors in his marketplace or any marketplace across the United States, you can ask them about those different opportunities.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet. Awesome. Cool. Thank you again, John, so much.
Thank you.
If you're listening to this podcast, you either own or will own a home, a car, and need life insurance. That's why you should check out our friends over at LaPointe Insurance, LaPointeINS.com. These guys are the best in the business. They can help you if you're in Rhode Island or Massachusetts. And let me tell you something, his dedicated team of professionals are there to assist you and meet you where you're at. You never feel like you're being sold. You felt like you're being helped. It's a family tradition over at LaPointe. Check them out, LaPointe Insurance. Welcome to the Wealth Architect podcast. I'm Emilio DiSpirito, and this is season 2, episode 11, segment 2. We've got a great guest with us here today. We have Tamara Williams, and she's with Williams Company out of Montana. And she's a top producing real estate agent with not only her brokerage, but throughout the United States. And we are connected with her through Realm Global. She's one of the founding members of Realm Global, which is a very elite group of real estate agents in 18 different countries that come together to collaborate, exchange information, referrals, and provide a much better experience for their clients that are relocating in and out of any given marketplace. So, Tamara, it's really nice to meet you. Thanks so much for being on The Wealth Architect.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you as well.
You're welcome. So the reason why I wanted you to come on the show and talk with you is because aside from building a wonderful real estate career, which is not easy, it's a very difficult thing to do where 87% of people fail. You've done it, you've flourished, but now you're building wealth through development and new construction. I wanted to pick your brain about that. I wanted to talk with you about it and give some ideas on how somebody could get into that and literally build some wealth as pretty much a side hustle, which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
So, Yeah. So
Yes.
first off, before we get into that though, how long have you been in real estate?
I got into real estate in 2007, and I've been flourishing ever since.
So when was it? All right. So 2007. Okay. So that's what, 18 years, right?
Yep.
All right, so 18 years. They say after 5 years of any type of business, you are proficient in that business. You are an expert in that business. So you've got more than triple that. So at what time, like how far into your career were you like, hey, you know what? I see everybody else making all this money in development and this and that. I see that. Like what was it and how long into it were you when you were like, this is it. I need to be doing this?
Yeah, I was actually gifted the opportunity of having one of the biggest developers here in Bozeman as my mentor.
Wow.
So I didn't decide. I was thrown into it. And
Good.
my broker at the time was also a major production builder here in Bozeman. So I saw it happening from the ground up. And about 2010, we started investing in lots. Back then, the margins were pretty small. We're talking, $30 to $50,000 profit on a house, but we were only
Wow.
into it $200,000, $250,000, right?
Yep.
Fast forward to now, and I've built over 100 spec homes.
Wow. It's quite a bit.
That's a few, yeah. And right at this moment, we're in the luxury speculation market. So we're building spec homes around $3 to $3.5 million.
Okay.
And I moved out of the $1 million range just because building costs in our market are incredibly high. It's hard to even build a home in our market underneath $1 million just because lot prices are around $300,000 here on the low end.
Okay.
And our build prices are around $600,000 to $700,000. So it's really hard to make margins at that price range.
How much per square foot is it, to build a house right now in Bozeman,
Oh,
Montana?
let me pull out my calculator. I think we're
Mm,
right around $250 to $400 a square foot, depending upon the level in which you want to live in.
yeah,
And that's
that's
hard
pricey.
cost. Yeah, it's not, that's costs, nothing
Wow.
else. So we're in a very expensive market. Labor is expensive here, costs of good is expensive. So we moved into the luxury market because of this.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, like, so just to get a gauge on your marketplace, right? Because everybody, of course, listening is going to want to build, luxury is going to want to build larger homes if, they have the opportunity to do so. They feel like maybe there's more money there, but that's not an easy market as well. It's a pretty difficult market. What's the median price in your marketplace?
About $1 million.
About 1 million. Wow, that's high. Here in we're in Rhode Island. In Rhode Island, we're about 550 or so median price.
Okay.
And we've got mansions in Newport and in Narragansett that go 15, 20 million, no problem. But then we also have, single family homes that are 400 or 500,000, which is most of, Rhode Island. So about $1 million to get into a house over there. So if you're in the upper echelon, you're looking at, $4 or $5 million homes, 3, $4 or $5 million homes. Is there a big target audience for that? Is there a lot of movement into your marketplace for that?
There is. So California, Seattle, Texas, Florida, they all love our market. So
Mhm.
we have a pretty good migration partnership with those areas. Our nickname is Bose Angeles. So
Los
you have an
Angeles.
idea of where people come from.
Yeah, got it. And what's the draw? Why are people moving from Los Angeles out to Bozeman, Montana?
Yes, so people are moving here for the lifestyle. We have a really good airport that connects to other places for telecommuting. But if you want to go skiing, you have three different ski resorts. Some of them are 20 minutes away. There's two others an hour away. If you want to go dirt biking, you can get out in the woods in 30 minutes.
Nice.
Fishing, floating, we're a really active lifestyle. So when you come here, you're going to notice that everybody looks like they've been hiking during the day. It's just the way of life around here. And
It's
so
awesome.
I think that's a big difference from the California lifestyle. And we're also a little bit of a slower pace.
Sure.
Um, so we're not quite as busy with, go, go, go. It's definitely
Yeah.
when you come here from a market like that, people are wondering why things are not getting done as fast, and it's part of our culture.
Yeah, which is a beautiful thing, but it's funny because in the Northeast here, we're kind of more like California, as we're
Yeah.
fast, like New York, Boston, Rhode Island. We are so fast where people can come off as being a little rude because we're like, hey, let's go, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
But when you go to places like Montana or down south, it slows down a bit. Well, let me ask you this as far as lifestyle. So people are moving out there for the lifestyle, okay? How are you infusing components of lifestyle into your real estate, into your luxury developments?
That's a really great question. So
Thank you.
when you move here, you are going to notice several things in a lot of homes. A, closet space, because people
Mhm.
have coats. B,
Yep.
a lot of RV parking garages in the luxury space. So that
Okay.
way you can put your toys like your RV someplace, your snowmobiles, your ATVs.
Love that.
You see quite a few saunas here and home gyms in the luxury market.
Mhm.
So I would say those are some of the primary things that get people, attracted to those luxury homes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So you're putting all of that in. You're putting the saunas, the RV parking, the home gyms. You're putting all of that in.
We're not doing the home gyms, but we are doing the RV. We are doing the steam showers. We
Yep.
have 220 if somebody wants to purchase a sauna and insert it for the infrared. And then you'll notice 4 and 5 bedrooms are really standard here, and they're larger rooms. So like 14 by 14-foot rooms
Wow.
is an
Yeah.
expectation in a lot of those houses for guest bedrooms. So you're going to
Nice.
notice some larger bedrooms so that you can do some of those other things.
Yeah, I love that you said expectation because when you're spending that kind of Skrilla, you're spending that kind of money, their expectations are going to be a lot bigger. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that you picked that niche to build, right? So, how was when you first started building? Was it a little scary jumping into it? Like, what was the risk? Were there any failures that happened?
Fortunately, knock on wood, I have not lost any money yet.
It's great.
I have had tight margins. So we've sold homes back in the recession where we made $17,000, $20,000. Mind you,
Wow.
our risk was a lot less. So
Yeah.
you're spending a few $100,000, but you're still making money at the end of the day. That's not bad, especially in a market that is very weak, like 2010.
Sure. Yeah.
After 2010, we definitely have seen major momentum forward. I can't say that I've made any big mistakes. Most of it has been in color selection, super easy things. We've generally been pretty smart. I would
Yep.
say one thing that I wouldn't go back and do again is we have a lot of planned unit developments here.
Okay.
And a lot of the big builders are coming in. So you'll notice that there's whole entire subdivisions built by one builder. So there's
Yep.
very few locations for other builders to go. And so sometimes there'll be 50 lots available in one neighborhood, 100 lots available, and 20 builders will go in, and all of a sudden 20 homes, 30 homes, 40 homes pop up. So a lot of opportunity in a small location. So I have moved from planned unit developments that are brand new releases to infill opportunities because I can
Yep.
control the inventory within those areas.
Got it. Okay. That's cool. So with a planned a PUD, right? They call it a PUD. With the PUDs, you're kind of stuck with what was approved for. I'm not familiar with those. You're kind of stuck
Yeah.
with what was approved. You have to fit within the footprints of that. And with the infill, you can build more of a custom type of home. Is that correct?
Yeah, and most of Bozeman is a planned unit development, right? But there is the new phases that are being released, and it's just a white, it's an open slate. Where the
Yeah.
other neighborhoods are pretty much just one empty lot in a subdivision that's already been built out with 45, 50 other homes. And
Yep.
so I might be the only home in that neighborhood versus competing with other product all at the exact same time. So I like being the only house in a neighborhood that's already built out versus a brand new house with 30, 40, 50 other brand new homes that I'm competing with.
Got it. Got it. So now when you jump into development, when you're, building new construction, where like are you using like hard money lenders to get this money or to the funds to build, or are you using the person that owns the land? Are they holding paper? Or can you kind of talk about the construct of a deal?
Yeah, so back in the recession, people were having the developer hold the land and building out. I entered the real estate market right after that was becoming less popular. So
Yep.
pretty much everybody that I'm using is standard construction lenders or cash investors.
Yep.
So even on these very expensive homes, we are doing those with cash or um, lending partners.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And so, Tamara, what do you see as far as up and coming trends in the luxury space?
So in our market, really big master closets,
Hmm.
um, and then large pantries, essentially a secondary kitchen. It's really, really popular. Laundry rooms and then outdoor spaces. We historically
Okay.
have not had a ton of outdoor spaces due to our snow load here. Like we get a ton of snow. So having more concrete outdoor spaces so that you just don't have the wear on your Trex or something like that. We're seeing more and more of that.
Got it. Okay, cool. How much snow do you get? Must be a
Depends on
lot.
the year. I mean, it kind of snows and melts, snows and melts. I don't pay attention to the
Yeah.
inches because I don't see it all at once. But I mean, we can get 1 to 2 to 3 feet at any given time. And
At any time, like in one storm?
it's normally like 2 or 3 storms, but it can be close
Okay.
together. It's not
Okay.
common all year long, but we can have a month of 3 feet of snow
Huh.
outside. two
Wow. All
months.
right. So here in the Ocean State, we're not getting that much snow. I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot. We'd be like shut down with that. That'd be like blizzard of 78, man. People would be having a lot of kids. People would be stuck in the house with 2, 3 feet of snow over here. But that's amazing. Good stuff.
Yeah, our school
And
buses aren't even late. Like we're on time, even if it's negative 30, we're
wow.
like life as normal.
Yeah, that's amazing. You guys just handle it like bosses out there. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And so, Tamara, I want to leave our audience with this. If like, who is the ideal person to move to Bozeman, Montana? Who is that?
Yeah. So the ideal person loves the outdoors. If you do
Hmm.
not like the outdoors, you're not going to like it here. You're also going to love snow.
Yeah.
Most people that move here like to ski, snowmobile, ice skate, do all the outdoor things because we are pretty much a winter state.
Hmm.
And people are friendly here. So if you don't like friendly people, you're not going to like Bozeman,
That's awesome. Who doesn't like friendly people? I mean, I'm sure
right?
there's some weirdos that don't, but yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff. So if you're looking in Bozeman, Montana, or if you're looking to get into development or new construction, whether you're a buyer or another agent, and you just have some questions, you're going to want to link up with Tamara Williams of Williams and Company, one of our Realm Global partners here. And Tamara, thanks so much. Great job. Loved having you on here. It was great to learn more about you and what you do, and definitely stay in touch.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Good stuff. Great episode today. Thanks so much for tuning into the Wealth Architect podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, and feel free to tell a friend or two about the program. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you next week. God bless you. I'm Emilio DiSpirito, the Wealth Architect. We'll see you then.